Good morning, YouTube. Welcome to Business Express. Smooth 98.1. It is gone past 6:30 for a hump of the week Wednesday. This is Business Express on Smooth Breakfast. Joining me, of course, for the next 15 minutes is Rotus. Good morning.
Good morning, Sope. Good morning to all our listeners and YouTube viewers. Good to be with you all on a Wednesday.
Yes, speaking of YouTube, of course, we are streaming live on youtube.com/smooth981FM Lagos. Make sure you leave your comments up on the live stream to join the conversation and join the conversation on Twitter and WhatsApp. The number for WhatsApp is 0809 440 981. And Twitter, we are at smooth981FM, at Rotancode as well. And use the hashtag BusinessExpress981 to direct your comments and questions to the right place. Okay, so Rotus, today we are talking about something, and I feel like it's been inspired by this article and what a company that's currently trending on Twitter, on social media, and we're talking about the top companies to work in Nigeria. Yes.
Yes, it's about my favorite topic, which is jobs. Peter Obi, who has declared for the presidency, was on television yesterday, and he was pointedly asked the question, how are you going to create jobs for Nigeria's youth? And I thought he already gave a good specific answer about how to increase productivity. So I've talked in the past about a gentleman by the name of Chris Hart, who is an analyst in South Africa. The man is obsessed with jobs. That is all he talks about. South Africa has, I think, unemployment there is like 39%. It could be higher. But all he talks about is jobs, and how to create jobs for the youth. So I thought this was interesting that LinkedIn put out this, and of course, everybody, I assume almost everybody is familiar with LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a professional site, or a social media site for professionals, where you do the same thing that you do on Facebook and Twitter and everywhere else, but it's more geared towards work-related stuff. So if you get a new job, if you get promoted, so on and so forth, you announce it on LinkedIn. Everything there is work-related. So they released top 25 companies to work for in Nigeria. And shout out to InterSwitch, since today's edition of Business Express is brought to us by InterSwitch. InterSwitch was number 11. Just quickly, and I sent you I don't know if you want to go through the list. I just sent the list to you on WhatsApp. If you want to.
Okay, give me a second.
Yes, you go ahead.
See them. All right, so at the top, oh wow, we've got the banks in at the top of the list.
Dominated by banks.
Yeah. I'm telling you, first up is Access Bank with a close second, I'm guessing, by GTB. Then we have Stanbic IBTC in third position, Zenith in fourth, Anheuser-Busch InBev.
That's a breweries company. They make beer. Breweries, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And they're in fifth position, with Union Bank and Sterling Bank coming in sixth and seventh. Then British American Tobacco in eighth, First Bank in ninth, and Fidelity in 10th. Wow. That top 10 list is mostly banks. It's 8 out of 10.
Exactly. Now, is that, that which now creates the thing is, does that mean that everybody wants to work in a bank, or does that mean that, and again, InterSwitch is number 11, so they're right outside the top 10. I mean, does that show that the financial services sector dominates, Nigeria in terms of jobs? If you were to ask a 3 or 4 youth in Nigeria, where would you like to work? Would they mention a bank, or would they mention a tech firm? So it's very interesting, because there weren't many. I think InterSwitch is literally, if you don't count the telcos, because MTN was at number 22, and I don't see Airtel on this list. So if you don't count the telcos, where would a prospective graduates coming out of university want to work? These are the kind of stories that, there's been so much doom and gloom. And there's a report on debt and oil theft and all this doom and gloom stuff that's just out there that we've been dominating the lines.
But Rotus is like, today I need to smile when it comes to Business Express.
So, but then even Shokwe, can we even smile? Because we have 33% unemployment, right? And as of Q4 2020. So, but as of now, that number has to have increased. So if you think about this is celebrating the best places to work according to LinkedIn, and I think there are metrics used: a minimum of 500 employees, a low attrition rate, which is a rate by which people leave the company of 10% or less. A few metrics, we should be talking about where the jobs are in this country, how to create better employment. I know it falls on government policies and so on and so forth. It also requires more companies coming into the country, because Amazon is on this list as well. So is Nestle.
Number 21. Mm.
Yeah, so I mean, thank you. So I mean,
wait, hold on. Fiverr is on this list.
Fiverr is there. Globalcom, sorry, MTN is there. Glow is on the list as well. Shell is on the list, as well. So I mean,
interesting. I thought it would have been higher up on the list. Apparently,
I know. So it's like to how LinkedIn, did their thing. But Shokwe, how do we get more jobs? How do we get more youth employed? Every single year, we have more youth coming out of universities and looking for work. And
now, hold on, Rotus, before we get further into that, Henry Emanuel has actually sent in a message saying what that list reflects, though, is corporate disclosures. Those in the financial space are subjected to more disclosures. That's what Henry Emanuel thinks.
And it's, I mean, yeah, every publicly traded company is going to put out, employee lists, hirings, and so on and so forth. You'll see that in the financials, male-female ratio of employees and compensation and so on and so forth. So the more disclosure, the better. But it's just, when you talk to the youth in this country, where do you want to work? What do you want to do? Their eyes light up because they like talking about opportunity. They like talking about getting paid. And in your everyday conversation in this country, whatever capacity, whatever you're doing, social events, you're going to talk about your job. You're going to talk about, if you meet somebody new tomorrow, you're going to talk about what it is that you do for a living.
It is the number 2 question that comes after what's your name?
Yeah, exactly. So, we have an election coming up. Every elected official, the way Peter Obi was put on the spot yesterday on television about what he would do specifically to create jobs for youth, is what every elected official needs to be answering. For every governor that is, throwing their hats in the ring, Vice President Sibanjo has now declared as well. He, of course, he's been to Silicon Valley. He's together a youth tech forum. So he's somebody who, he's in charge of PEBEC, Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council. He sits on the National Economic Council. So he's got, questions to answer in terms of how to create jobs. But this is it. This is where it is. And it shouldn't just be LinkedIn releasing this. Publications any public publication that wants to do a survey can also put out this type of list, so we can find out, what the trends are in terms of which companies are doing what they can, to hire, and what it's like to work there. And that should be the focus, right? How we increase it, that is going to be the issue. To create a job, you need to create demand. If my plumbing blows out on in my kitchen or whatever bathroom, demand has been created because I need a service. I need a plumber who's going to, right? So you've got to create demand for these positions, whether it's in research and development in universities or a new tech company that is opening up, like data centers. That's how it needs to happen. So it's got to be a primary focus for everybody running for president, for the new administration. It has to be. So it's very interesting. But yeah, banks did dominate this list in terms of best places. I see Wema Bank is even on there.
Here's the thing, and we need to know the details of how this list was reached, because I want to know the metrics for why it's banks that are dominating this list.
Yeah. But
80% of the top 10 lists of the top 10 banks. Rather is banks. Yeah.
Is banks, and I guess, I don't know, maybe one also, if you use anecdotal evidence and talk to any individual looking for work, the top bankers, the CEOs of the big banks, I mean, they are paid a lot of money. They are part of the elite. They're always making the news. So bankers are in Nigeria. They're celebrated. So it's a position that I think brings about a lot of aspiration in a lot of individuals who want to. I've everybody at some point, most people have, depending on where you've worked and what through your career transition, you've had some kind of interaction with a bank in terms of working there. And I mean, if you think about what banking is central to our lives and what we carry out. The Central Bank of Nigeria just approved a payment service bank license for MTN Nigeria, for instance. So now they can engage in banking services, minus giving out loans and minus engaging in financial foreign exchange transactions. MTN payment service bank license is now, approved. So they're going to be going out there to rural areas to try and include folks in financial, as far as financial inclusion is concerned. So financial services, financial transactions, mobile money, fintech, I guess all of that kind of revolves around banking services, and that's why you're seeing. I think banks are just ingrained in the fabric of society. So that's, I guess, part of the reason why we're seeing that domination there.
Oh, so up on YouTube on the live stream, Kunle Odebi says methodology was included in the post saying LinkedIn activity. And yeah, it says going into the article, LinkedIn did say it considered data across 7 pillars. So that's ability to advance, skills growth, company stability, external opportunity, company affinity, gender diversity, and spread of educational backgrounds. So thanks so much for that, Kunle Odebi. And going over to WhatsApp, your messages are coming in. Ogano Chuko says, and let me see if I can get that message, change our education curriculum so that graduates should be the job creators rather than the job seekers. Whilst Ahmed from Ogudu says, that list doesn't have consulting. Consulting is supposed to be on that list. And also the consulting firms and also the Big Four that employ the best of the best graduates every year.
Yeah, PwC is on the list. They're at number 20. So PwC is on consulting is represented on that list. And great messages.
So I'm glad that you said that, because Henry Manolo was like, where are all the top consulting firms? Now we've seen one at least. Whilst Michael at Day 22 says, dear Rotus, still waiting for one news, and that's Flutterwave.
Okay, fine.
Because Rotus, you know what? Actually, even when I saw that top firms, top companies to work for, I was like, oh, are we going to link this into companies?
I didn't want to touch it, but look, the Flutterwave thing. Yeah, David Hyundai.
David Hyundai.
Yeah, Hyundai. Yeah, he put out a piece talking about alleged corporate governance issues at Flutterwave. The company did, I think he teased it in a tweet, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago. So the company then preempted that and put out an interview with a website where they address some of these issues. So one is an issue of corporate governance issues where it's alleged that stock options that were offered to employees were not followed through, or they were underpriced. Basically, you get, as part of joining a company, part of the is you're giving some companies, you give stock options which are vested over a period of time. You cannot exercise those options on maybe 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years. And essentially some of them were not paid out according to what was agreed. Now, the company says that stock options are not part of their employment offers, that they give them based on performance. So that's that. Then there were issues of sexual abuse,
sexual misconduct.
The company said that yes, they investigated, somebody was dismissed. What else? Also, the fact that DB, as is known, Gbenga Agula, which is the founder and CEO of Flutterwave, that he was starting the company while he was still working at Access Bank. So there was supposed to be like a conflict of interest, but the company also addressed that too and said that Herbert Wigwe actually flew out with Gbenga to meetings in San Francisco to assist him in getting the company off the ground, because Access Bank was a partner. So those 3 items, the company has addressed them. I don't know if that was earlier. There has been no new response to this because I think they feel like they've already addressed it. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Nigeria's tech ecosystem continues to grow, but I think it's important to separate Flutterwave, the company, from the CEO, because most of these allegations are on the CEO's head and his personal conduct in terms of how he treated employees and all that. So I think, that's an important distinction to make. But we'll see if the company
bringing that up.
Something out later today. We'll see what happens. It was heavily trending on Twitter yesterday.
Oh yes. All right, so we've got, that's the end of the show, unfortunately, but your messages are coming in. So let me just read a few more messages and then we'll end the show. So Prince up on WhatsApp said, it will be good to know what category of bank staff the survey interviewed and companies that participated in the survey. Whilst Abdul Kadir says, no Dangote company on the list. And
no what?
No Dangote company on the list.
Oh yeah, no, that's interesting, right?
Yeah. Whilst
That is interesting.
Gilbert Musa from Festac says, since 1997, the performance of banks dominated most highly traded stocks on the Nigerian Stock Exchange, even after the stock market from 2008 upwards. Reason for the job preference. He said, rather, stock market crash. Yes, reasons for the job preference. And that is that. We've actually even run over time. It's such an interesting topic. Do make sure you continue the conversation on Twitter with Rotus at Rotanquote. Rotus, thanks. It's been a blast. And see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
All right.
See you tomorrow.
That's it. 7:30, people. It is going to be freshly pressed. Be tuned. We've got great music coming your way as well.
Brought to you by EnterSwitch.
I was on Twitter yesterday, so I did see that story. What time did it come out? Evening.
This is Smooth 98.1. First question of the day.